Okay, welcome to Creating a Natural Law Republic, Part 5. Today we are going to finish up this series and cover Articles 8 and 9 of the Constitution for a Natural Law Republic. This is probably going to be my favorite part because we're going to tie everything together. We're going to cover not only Article 8, which is essentially the Bill of Rights from the old Constitution, but instead of an amendment to the Constitution, this will actually be part of the supreme law of the land because it's written directly into the original Constitution. And in addition to the rights of the sovereign, I have also added, because this is a natural law republic, something that has never been done before in history. And that is a declaration of personal responsibilities. For every right, there's an equal responsibility to balance those rights. So, again, this is something that's never been done before in history, and I felt that it needed to be part of this Constitution because for years we've seen people clamoring about their rights being violated and this and that, but you don't ever see anybody ever talking about their personal responsibilities. They just want to take, and never account for their own shortcomings, misgivings, what have you. So you'll see by the time we finish this video how everything ties together, how this system works, how everything keeps everything else in check. And again, once you understand how this system truly does guarantee you individual sovereignty, how it truly does give you power to control your life in whatever way you want, so long as you don't infringe on anybody else's rights, and this gives you a life of freedom you have never experienced before, ever. You should be excited about wanting to bring this to fruition. Again, this is something I've worked on for 15 years, and this is a solution that I don't see anyone else in the world talking about. So we are going to screen share and get into the Declaration of Sovereign Rights, which is Article 8 of the Constitution. Here we go. Article 8, Rights and Responsibilities. Declaration and definitions of full sovereign rights and responsibilities. In this Constitution for the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America, no amendments will be allowed to change the original intent of this document to be recognized as the supreme law of the land. Any and all alterations to this document must be debated and agreed to by a 75% vote of the protector class to ensure that no spurious or illegitimate additions can be made to change the meaning of any of this document. As such, all rights and responsibilities of every signatory sovereign of this republic will be a foundational and integral part of this original document and defined in this article. These are written and fully recognized declarations of individual, inalienable rights and responsibilities as granted to every sentient human being upon their birth and not granted by any authority created by any man or mankind itself. These rights do not come from nor are they granted by this document, but are rather a guarantee and protection of these rights and cannot ever be taken away from a sovereign individual for any reason whatsoever other than conviction of a crime as defined in Articles 1 and 2 of this Constitution. Certain rights can only be revoked for such time period that is necessary to repay full reparations for crimes committed or such a time as the victim of a violent crime grants forgiveness to the perpetrator and allows them to be fully released back into civil society. Section 1. Individual sovereign rights. 1. The right to freedom of speech shall not be infringed by any member of the Public Service Administration, any member of the protector class, or business entity. It is every sovereign's right to speak their mind and have their voice heard in all matters. In any grievances against any other sovereign, business entity, or member of the protector class, the sovereign will be allowed to have their voice and complaint be heard and addressed with full respect for the rights of that individual or entity. 2. The right to self-defense by whatever means necessary and reasonable to the individual sovereign shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. The right to defend and protect oneself from attack or assault, physical harm, property damage, or even death from another individual or group of individuals at any time and any location within this republic is a sacred right granted by our Creator and cannot nor will not be taken away for any reason whatsoever, with the exception of a conviction of a violent crime in a court of common law. This right will only be suspended and only restricted to firearms within any and all reform and reparation centers for the safety of all incarcerated individuals and employees of the facilities. 3. The right to privacy in all personal property communications between all private parties, whether written, digital, or in any way transmitted, shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. Any attempt to violate this right by intercepting communications, searching or seizing personal property for any reason other than reasonable suspicion of accused crimes by another sovereign, business entity, or members of the PSA or protector class will be considered a violation of natural law and a crime under the terms of this Constitution. 4. The right to due process of law in a court of common law shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. Any and all accusations of crimes or trespasses against another sovereign, business, or public service administration entity shall be settled in a timely manner in a court of common law. All evidence from both sides of any case will be allowed to be presented in full for a jury to debate the evidence and decide the guilt of the accused party. All trials shall be heard by a jury of members of the protector class. 5. The right to private property earned and acquired by lawful and honorable means shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. No private property shall be seized or taken for any reason other than conviction of crimes in a court of common law and after a fair and just trial. 6. The right to pursue economic activity of every sovereign's choosing shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. It is the right of every individual sovereign in this republic to choose whatever means necessary they wish to engage in the free market economy and to earn personal income. No restrictions other than those that may purposely cause physical harm to others or result in any violations of natural law shall be imposed on any free sovereigns within this republic. It is not the purview of the Public Service Administration or any member of the protector class to define what may be considered economic activity other than those that may specifically cause purposeful harm to others. If you question whether or not your activities may be causing harm or violating natural law, it is the responsibility of the sovereign to choose other activities to protect themselves from accusation and prosecution. 7. The right to travel unimpeded by anything other than proof of proficiency in safely operating any vehicle on public roadways shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. Freedom of movement and travel is a natural right, and the only restrictions to this right are the rules of the road as defined by the Department of Infrastructure, Transportation, and Roadways for safe and mutual usage by all other sovereigns of this republic. Travel between other natural law republics shall not be impeded by any forms of regulation, licensing, or official passports. No permission by the Public Service Administrations shall be required of every sovereign to enjoy any part of this world as long as everyone uses their freedoms in a responsible and respectful manner. 8. The right to health freedom shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. Health is defined in Section 2 of this article as a personal responsibility, and thus the right of the individual sovereign to pursue whatever means they feel necessary to maintain optimal health and to choose whichever form of medicine, healing modality, or practitioner they may feel best for them. There will be no restrictions on what type of medical interventions may be performed in this natural law republic. The free market economy will be the ultimate factor in deciding which modalities and methods are the most effective in allowing individuals to attain the optimal level of health. 9. The right to religious worship shall not be infringed by any member of the PSA, business entity, or protector class. Religious beliefs are protected by this Constitution, and the way in which an individual sovereign wishes to connect to their Creator are personal and private. Religious beliefs may also be subjective, and thus only certain beliefs and practices that fully align with natural law will be defensible in courts of common law should any action based in these beliefs cause harm to another sovereign or their property. So, those are the 9 personal rights as declared in this Constitution for a natural law republic. Any other rights that anybody can think of that need to be added to this, more than happy to amend this to make sure that everything is covered. These are the 9 that I came up with, and I think they pretty much cover any right or freedom that anybody could ever want to exercise. All right, so now we're going to move on to Section 2, which is individual sovereign responsibilities. Number 1, the responsibility in one's freedom of speech is to all other individuals within society, and it is the duty and responsibility of all others to discern the veracity of all personal and others' rhetoric from any and every source. The acquisition of critical thinking skills to discern fact from fiction is the responsibility of the individual sovereign. Responsibilities to free speech include, but are not limited to: A. Bullying is not a right, and any verbal abuse is a violation of natural law. 2. Lying to deceive and withdraw informed consent is a violation of natural law and may be considered a crime if harm, either physically or financially, comes to an individual sovereign or their property as a result of a premeditative, deceptive action. C. In polite society, when not for constructive purposes, cruel criticism is unnecessary and should always be kept to oneself to maintain civility. Criticism meant solely to harm another's feelings is considered a violation of natural law. D. Opinions unaligned with natural law are the responsibility of the individual sovereign to alter so as to find balance and resolve disputes. Opinions in matters of objective truth and reality are not a right, but the responsibility of the sovereign to learn, understand, and abide by. 2. The responsibility of self-defense is limited solely to protecting oneself, one's family, other sovereigns, and personal property from another's assault. The initiation of force against another or their property is considered a violation of natural law, the non-aggression principle, a violation of this responsibility, and thus considered a crime. Any offenses made with weapons of any manner or function in the commission of a crime equate to an egregious violation of natural law, and the victim will have the sole judgment as to the fate of the aggressor after the trial has completed and guilt has been determined. Storage and safe use of any and all weapons are the sole responsibility of the owner, and any misuse of these weapons in the commission of a crime may be considered as a violation by the owner of these weapons. Instances fully beyond the control of the owners will not be considered violations of this responsibility. 3. The responsible use of private property to be used as the owner sees fit is necessary to be defined within this Constitution. We all share this world and may use and enjoy every bit of public land, including private land upon permission, and personal property to our maximum enjoyment. However, this right comes with the responsibility of the sovereign to use their property in a responsible and respectful manner to nature and all other sovereigns. Abusive use of personal property of any type will be considered a violation of natural law, and cases may be brought against the irresponsible or aggressive party in a court of common law. 4. The responsible respect of privacy is everyone's sovereign's duty to obey. The right to privacy is an inalienable right as granted by our Creator and defined in this Constitution. Any violations of someone's privacy by any other sovereign, members of the PSA, protector class, or any business entity, including unauthorized spying or misuse of personal information from tech companies, is considered a violation of natural law, and violations may result in criminal or civil charges from individuals, groups, PSA members, or other businesses. The general policy of a natural law republic is to mind your own business. 5. The responsibility to respond to criminal complaints is every sovereign's duty to obey under the terms of this Constitution, as well as their personal sovereignty social contract. Any and all complaints or claims filed against an individual, group, business entity, or member of the PSA or protector class must be responded to and addressed in a timely and appropriate manner. If an individual sovereign is summoned to court for whatever reason, that individual is responsible to appear and answer to the claims and provide a defense. If found guilty of any accusations, it is the responsibility of the guilty party to make full reparations to the victim in an agreed to manner. 6. The responsibility of economic activity and the collection and submission of the contributions from all sales is the duty of every sovereign of this republic to support and fund the public service administrations and all departments who are working on behalf of the sovereigns to ensure your rights, the smooth operations of all economic activity, ease of travel, an essential common law court system, and a socially beneficial reform and reparation system. It is the responsibility of all business owners to register their business with the DBA, make timely payments of contributions, and to maintain their business social contract status in good standing. It is also the responsibility of all business owners to ensure that their economic activities are not in violation of natural law and that no harm may come from their products or services. 7. The responsible use of public roadways and infrastructure is the personal duty of every sovereign signatory to this Constitution and personal sovereignty social contract. The use of all public roads is a right by every sovereign to be used in a responsible manner. All rules of the road are agreed to be followed by each sovereign, and all vehicles used on public roadways are the individual's responsibility to be registered with the DITR. All personal accounts are to be maintained and paid in accordance with the agreed to terms based on the sovereign's personal preference and usage. Abuse of public roadways and reckless driving that threatens others or puts others in harm's way will be addressed in the rules of the road as determined by the DITR. 8. The responsibility to personal education is a duty of every sovereign in a natural law society. There are no public schools nor compulsory government education in a natural law republic. Education will be left up to the free market and the responsibility of parents to ensure that their children are properly educated. The only requirement for free market education facilities is that they must teach a classical liberal arts curriculum and understanding of natural law and create a student-directed learning environment. The educational model of the past has proven disastrous, and remedy for this is to leave it to the free market to solve while being held accountable to the Department of Business Accountability to ensure proper curriculum is being taught. 9. The responsibility to personal health is understood as a foundational pillar for the overall health of the entire society. It is the personal responsibility of every individual sovereign in this republic to learn and understand the very simple basics of how the body works and the keys to optimal health. Free will to make personal choices will never be taken away, but it is understood by all that poor diet and exposure to toxic lifestyles will result in poor health and disease. In a natural law republic, it will be the responsibility of the individual to cover the cost of their own health care needs through whichever method they choose. The insurance industry will be completely reformed to allow coverage only for unforeseen accidents and trauma care. Disease care, if chosen to be covered, will be a completely separate type of insurance and policy, and coverages to be decided by the providers in the free market. 10. Responsibility to religious beliefs must align with natural law, and any trespasses against any others or their property due to a religious belief will not be a valid excuse for defense in any violations to be settled in a court of common law. The practice of any religion is welcomed in the natural law republic, but dogmatic beliefs that result in crimes or physical harm against others due to irrational or illogical beliefs or teaching will not be accepted as a defense in any case brought before a jury. Okay, so there we have the Declaration of Sovereign Rights and Responsibilities. As you can see, by having a Declaration of Personal Responsibilities written into the supreme law of the land, everybody who signs this Constitution, and every sovereign will be required to sign this Constitution, knows their responsibilities in society. They also understand their rights. So again, this has never been tried before in history, and I think it's time that we unite behind this idea, because essentially nobody would be able to have any excuse for not knowing what their rights or responsibilities are. And this goes for all sovereigns, this goes for everybody in the protector class, everybody in the Public Service Administration, and every single business entity. Every single person is responsible for their own actions in a natural law republic. This Constitution defines it. So, therefore, there are no excuses for wrongdoings other than ignorance or purposeful criminal action. So we're going to go on to Article 9 here, which is ratification of this Constitution. It shall be up to the individual sovereigns of this nation to bear the responsibility of ratifying this Constitution, giving it power to stand as the supreme law of the land, and abolishing all ties to the legacy systems that have broken their intentions, promises, and oaths to protect the life, liberty, and pursuits of happiness as outlined in previous republics' founding documents. This Constitution is fully intended to be the protection for the sovereign people of this nation they have never before experienced. Acceptance and signatory by 10% of the population, or roughly 32 to 34 million sovereigns, will be sufficient to begin the transition to a replacement system of societal management. As support continues to grow for this newly formed natural law republic, the momentum for humans to realize the path to their own freedom worldwide should begin to grow. Once a two-thirds majority of the public have signed their personal declarations of independence, this Constitution, and their personal sovereignty contracts, the only recognizable national authority will be the newly initiated and staffed public service administrations. The purpose of this method of establishing a new republic is for the peaceful, seamless, painless, and nonviolent transition of power from the legacy systems of illegitimate authority back to the individual sovereigns where it inherently belongs. The transition is designed to make the disruption of anyone's lives as minimal and unrecognizable as possible. During the building of critical mass to the necessary 32 to 34 million sovereigns, the founding members and authors of this Constitution will be meeting on a regular basis to define the management structures of the PSAs and the logistics for transitioning from the old system to the new system. And then we have the signatory line. Again, this is what solves Lysander Spooner's biggest criticism of the old Constitution, which is it wasn't an agreement between any men because it wasn't a signed document. This is designed to be a signed document between every single sovereign of the natural law republic and the Public Service Administration that is sworn to protect every sovereign's rights. Period. It's so simple. It's so beautiful because everybody is signatory to this Constitution and this republic. I state your name, do hereby swear and affirm that by signing this Constitution, I accept it and all of its articles and sections as the supreme law of the land. I understand that as a sovereign individual living in this republic, I have full personal responsibility for my life and the life of my family's minors until such a time comes that they decide to become fully sovereign. I agree to abide by my social contract and that I will honor and answer any grievances directed at me in a timely and honorable manner. And then obviously everyone would sign it and would submit it to their local public service administration. And then just this is something I've written into it. This first rough draft version of this Constitution is planned to go through multiple revisions and edits before it is finalized as the Constitution that will be signed by each and every individual sovereign of this nation, thus giving it the authority it needs to be recognized as the supreme law of the land, not only by the sovereigns of this natural law republic, but by other nations around the world. The final revision of this Constitution will have a section for every member of this republic who is willfully chosen to domicile in this nation to sign and give their full support, which I've added to this second revision, Revision 1. I've done that already. So that is the end of the proposed Constitution for the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America. Okay, so there we have it. Putting it all together, obviously the preamble and Article 1 show that the power belongs with the individual. It defines the maxims of law to be adhered to in a natural law republic, which are very simple. There's only 4 of them. Anybody can learn them in a matter of minutes. The structure of the Public Service Administration is defined. All the services and departments are defined. The rights and responsibilities of every sovereign is defined. And everybody signs onto this as the supreme law of the land that they agree to abide by. And again, that protects them and their rights from ever being infringed. What we're going to do now is look at the final piece of this puzzle, which is the contractual system of checks and balances. Now, as opposed to the Constitution we were living under, which supposed checks and balances were the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government, which again, I have in my video series proven have all been taken over by criminal forces, essentially, and hijacked to be used in ways they were never meant to be used, and has taken away our protection. The checks and balances in this system, you will see, are completely decentralized down to every single individual. Again, this is a system that's never been tried in human history, but I think it's time that we institute it, because again, it gives power and sovereignty to every individual, and they are agreeing essentially to be a decent human being. So we're going to flip over and go to the 3 contracts right now. Okay, so here we are. This is the guarantee, like I've been saying in all of my posts and all the things I've been saying. This right here is the guarantee of personal sovereignty, and this is how we restore power back to the individual. Once I read through this, you will understand fully the power behind what I'm proposing for the natural law republic and how everything in this type of system keeps everything else in check. Again, this has never been attempted before in history. The social contract has always been this etheric thing that we always just kind of believed in, but didn't truly protect us from the overreach of government, as this can be seen from not only the last 22 months, but we're talking generations. We haven't been protected from the overreach of government. So if we ever want to be free in our lives, we need to start working towards implementing a system such as this. So, personal sovereignty social contract for the natural law republic of the United States of America. I, state your name, do hereby solemnly swear that I am willfully and of clear mind and conscience signing this contract declaring my status as a sovereign individual of the natural law republic of the United States of America. And again, this is applicable in every country, so if you want to do this, download the documents and put them in your own language. By doing so, I understand that I am able to live my life to my full potential and to have my full range of human rights protected by the public service administrations enacted to manage this republic and ensure the critical operations of the economic and monetary systems and the common law courts. I also understand that my rights are inalienable and an inherent birthright from my Creator, and that they cannot be infringed upon by any member of the public service administrations, any business entities, or other sovereign individuals. I also understand that any trespass or aggressions against me shall be settled in a court of common law, and all decisions therein respected and honored. By signing this contract, I also agree to abide by all of the responsibilities outlined in the Constitution for this natural law republic. I agree to live my life in honor and integrity and not to impose my will upon others or trespass against any other sovereign or their property. If summoned to a court of common law to answer any accusations against me, I agree to appear when asked to and offer my defense. This personal sovereignty social contract also solidifies my declaration of independence from any and all legacy systems to which I have unwittingly been bound to via adhesion contracts and constructive fraud. It also solidifies my allegiance and support of the Constitution for the natural law republic of the United States of America, and that this contract protects me from any and all trespasses against me by whomever or whichever entity attempts to unlawfully impose their will upon me. And then you sign it and you submit it your local public service administration. So this is the one that every single sovereign in the nation will sign. It protects you, and it also says, I accept all responsibilities for my actions. And again, that's just the way it should be. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Public Service Administration and Protector Class Social Contract. This is the one that everyone will sign that has passed the Natural Law Republic test, showing all the knowledge they need to become a member of the Protector Class. So, Public Service Administration and Protector Class Social Contract for the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America. I do hereby solemnly swear that I am willfully and of clear mind and conscience signing this contract declaring my status as a member of the Protector Class of the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America. By doing so, I understand that I have accepted a higher level of responsibility than all other sovereigns of this republic and have proven my worthiness by passing the Natural Law Republic PC PSA test. In accepting that level of responsibility, I agree to abide by my oath to protect and defend the Constitution for the Natural Law Republic of the United States and to conduct myself and my actions at the highest level of moral ethics and virtue. I also understand that any violations of this oath will result in my removal from this class, and I will revert to the status of sovereign only and able to live my life freely as I so choose. If an aggression against another sovereign or business has been asserted, I will defend myself in a court of common law and agree to comply with any judgments against me. I understand that as a member of this class, I will be eligible for any available positions in the Public Service Administrations for which I am fully qualified to fill. I will always do all I have been asked to do to the best of my ability and abide by the maxims of natural law. If called to participate in a jury in a common law trial, I will do so willingly and be paid for my time as well. As a member of this class, I have proven my knowledge of the required curriculum and will conduct my duties in alignment with that knowledge. In matters of voting, I will use my critical thinking skills and understanding of natural law to ensure that all matters presented to us are resolved in the most logical and sensible manner possible. As a member of this class, I also realize it is my duty to ensure that other members of this class maintain their code of ethics and honor as well. If I encounter information or actions that show a violation of this code of ethics, I will bring it to the attention of the other member to correct or to answer further indiscretion in a court of common law. I understand that the only way to ensure that this protector class and system of public service administration never gets infiltrated by subversive or corrupting elements or people, it is my duty to do so to maintain the integrity of this organization and to protect the sovereign rights of every individual in this republic. It is my sacred honor to pledge my name and word to this document. So as you can see, there's a higher level of responsibility assigned to anybody in the protector class or the Public Service Administration, and it ensures that people who get into positions of responsibility do not abuse them. If they are abused, they will be immediately removed. So again, you can see how a system such as this is designed to operate at the highest moral ethics, and that if others see ethics being violated, they will either be corrected or that person will be removed. So again, just as in natural law, this is a self-correcting system, and everyone just has to simply do their job. It's as simple as that. And again, in a system such as this, where you get to keep 100% of your income, everybody should be fairly wealthy and there will be abundance for all. So the need to lie, cheat, and steal to gain more is just, it's going to go away in a natural law republic. Because again, once that grift of government goes away, the greed will go away as well. I think you'll see that once people get to keep 100% of what they produce, that we're going to have a much more civil society and crime should plummet as well. All right, so now we're going to go on to the final part of the social contracts, and I'll just start reading it. Business accountability and fiduciary duties social contract for the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America. I, as a primary owner of this business entity, do hereby solemnly swear that I am willfully and of clear mind and conscience signing this contract to operate my business under the maxims of natural law as outlined in the Constitution for the Natural Law Republic of the United States of America, and to honor my fiduciary duties as documented in our Articles of Inception. I also agree to operate my business with the highest moral standards possible. I understand that this business and all of its dealings and transactions are my personal responsibility, and that I will be held personally liable for any violations of this contract directly related to my decisions or actions. Actions of others will be their personal responsibility as outlined in the Constitution. I understand that any violations of natural law, trespasses against others, or questionable business activities may be brought against me in a court of common law by any sovereign, protector class, public service administration member, or other business entity. I agree to abide by all guidelines set by the Department of Business Accountability in accordance with my operations and business sector, and that all such guidelines will only align with natural law and in no way illegitimately impede my ability to operate my business in an honest and open free market with unnecessary or burdensome regulations and red tape. I understand that the free market is designed to benefit the customers of my business and all sovereigns of this republic who choose to interact with my business. As such, I will operate with the fair competition guidelines as documented in our Articles of Inception, and any activities which may be construed as unfair, monopolistic, or damaging to other competitors in the free market may result in charges against my business in a court of common law. I agree to collect and submit all point-of-sale contributions to the Treasury on an agreed-to basis. All financial interactions of my business will be available and fully transparent to any member of the Department of Business Accountability whenever requested and in a reasonable time frame. I agree to operate my business with the highest ethical standards and to contribute to the flourishing economy of this republic, while also protecting the natural balance of ecosystems, honoring our employees as integral to our success, as well as our customers, without whom we'd be a viable entity. It is my honor to operate this business to align with the natural laws of economics and to engage in fair and honest competition in the free market made possible by the Public Service Administration and sovereigns of this republic, and I pledge my name and word to this document. So again, businesses are held to a higher standard than they've ever been held to in the past, because in the past, businesses have been held to a standard which ensured that their fiduciary duty was to maximize shareholder value, which I've highlighted in other videos was the primary cause of all destructive forces of business itself. So, again, capitalism has never been the problem. The problem has been the way it's been run by criminals to steal from the masses through fraud and machinations of the stock market and, again, all other violations of natural law. So the Natural Law Republic and the Constitution and the checks and balances system are all designed to fix all the problems that we've seen in society going back generation after generation after generation, and the slow decline into the despotism we're literally on the doorstep of right now. So that's going to wrap it up for part 5 of this series. From here, go on to part 7 through 12 of The Path to Freedom, and that will finish up the foundation of the Freedom Project 2020. Hopefully by now you can see that what I've written here honors the intention of the Constitution that was written to supposedly free America, but was soon hijacked by other entities and turned into a perpetual document that it was never meant to be. We are the living, and we are the owners of this world. We have the right and we have the responsibility to do what we need to do to protect our rights and to protect our world. The Natural Law Republic does all of that and more, And again, all we need to do is get to a critical mass and we can implement this. There's nothing they can do to stop us once we achieve 10%. It will be the domino that will take us into a future of abundance and freedom we've never experienced in our life before. So again, thank you for getting through this, and share this with your friends. Comment. Let me know what you think. We're in this together, and this is a collaborative effort. I have done everything that I can to put this together so that people can see that we do have another option. We can break free of this false left-right paradigm that we've been stuck in our entire lives, that has divided and conquered us, that has created all this dissension in society. It's time for us to evolve past that. This system does that for everybody. Everybody is a free human being in this system, and it just boils down to personal responsibility. And everybody just agrees to be a decent human being. And in this system, I think everybody will. Because most people are decent human beings anyway. All this system does is it really puts the handcuffs and restraints on the people who want to do you harm. Because as it's defined in the Constitution, I believe it's Article 7, the reparations system, everything is designed to ensure that people just act as a decent human being. It's really as simple as that. And it shouldn't be any more difficult than that. So again, thank you for getting through this. I love you all. And let's do this. We can do this. We have the will. We will have the numbers. And the future will be ours. We will not experience a great reset. We will not experience a fourth industrial revolution. And we will not experience the dystopian New World Order. We have the power, and we will assert our power. We will take back our power, and we will live as sovereigns in this world until our death. And we will pass this world on to our children, knowing that they are safe and that they are free. Thank you all. I love you, and we will see you soon.